Hi friends, hi, my name is Mia and this usually would be my ritual vanity, but this time as part of my gentle declutter, reviewing everything that I have series, we are going through my physical vanity and getting rid of some stuff. This isn't going to be a ruthless declutter. This is just basically me going through everything, reviewing, enjoying what I have, and occasionally letting go of the things that don't serve me or don't spark joy. 90% of the things that you see, like this whole towering pile of stuff that's some is even off camera, these were bought with my own money, so you can understand why I'm not that keen on letting go of them before they reach a sort of mental arbitrary usage meter. Okay, let's start with some easy wins. These are my single shadows in their own pack. There are some that I know for sure I can get rid of. These four, this isn't necessarily their original packaging. I put a sticker on them. These are from a brand that I no longer support because they keep stealing swatches and videos from creators, and I'm not about that life. I used to take these singles with me a lot when traveling, but I don't really use them aside from that purpose. It's just because they were quite cheap, they're pretty, I don't feel the need to, be precious about them. So I'm going to let these go. I've got very similar singles in the rest of my collection and don't need to keep these problematic ones. And I will give these away to a friend. This is from Lidl, or whatever you pronounce it actually, from Chien or Cien. This is just a cute neutral duo. Surprisingly good quality for how very cheap it was. So if you're a neutral girl and you have a Lidl nearby, do check out this duo. It's pretty high quality. I'm going to keep this specifically for travel. It's cheap. I won't cry if I lose it or if it shatters. It's pretty softly pressed, so if I use it a few more times I might, hit pan, you never know. But I really do like the undertones and the quality of this. Surprisingly very good. I bought this Catrice single, oh, it's got like a little thing on it, because it went viral on TikTok and it's a very pretty mauve shade. Come on, open up. This is in 320. I've used this a couple of times and I really enjoy it, so I'm going to keep this. I have these 3 Kiko Milano wet and dry shadows. This is 200, which is my favorite champagne gold in my collection. This is gonna ruin my nails, isn't it? Like, for example, compare it to a one that I don't use as often. Like, you can clearly see the usage and just imprint on the pad is very satisfying. So this is 200. This is 202. And 228. I am going to keep 200 because I really love it. I'm going to keep 228 because this ashy mauve situation is quite unique to my collection. I'm going to let go of 202. It's a very pretty, rosy sort of tone, but it's nothing special and someone else might use it more. I have a bunch of these Pupa Vamp shadows. Most of them, I will admit, I got on sale. This is the Wet and Dry formula. This is 410. The periwinkle one is 417. The matte 504. The brown 301. This is 201. I really enjoy these. Specifically this little trio over here. It's a neutral lover's dream, basically. It's just really pretty. Why can't I just put my hand somewhere that's useful? This I love, but I feel like it gets lost on my lids, like it doesn't really show up properly. This periwinkle I really love as well, and this kind of lasts better. For now I'm keeping most of these. I really want to use them more, even though this one kind of like my lids eat it up, but maybe I can make it work with a different base. This Kiko Milano one, this is from one of their limited edition collections, and this is the Holiday Fable Precious Purple. I love this. Unfortunately, this has absolutely no lasting power on me. I think it's just because it's so creamy. It creases instantly and my lids eat it up. Usually I don't have this problem with eyeshadow because I have dry lids. This one just doesn't want to cooperate. So this also goes into the declutter pile. The Essence Melted Chrome in Zinc About You is a beautiful, like, nude shadow. Very wet looking. It kind of matches my skin tone in a way that if I sheer it and thin it out, it just looks like my lids are wet. It's very, very beautiful. Great drugstore option. I'm definitely keeping this one. Sephora Chalk Shock. Beautiful. Ow. Come on. Beautiful chocolatey brown with a strong, very strong reflect. Like, this is a one and done shadow. Proper, like, see how it reflects in the light? Beautiful. Let's address these pigments because I feel like I can move them up here. These are Forever Glow pigments. Forever Glow is a Romanian brand. This is in Chameleon 723. Oh, this is gonna get very messy very quick. 730. Five to seven. These are very, very beautiful. It's just that I rarely use them. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try to set a usage meter for them this year and try to use them, I don't know, at least 15-20 times each. They're really, really, really pretty. Last but not least, this is Glam Shop in Polar. Seriously, they're all so pretty, look. Last but not least, these are 3 Cupio cream shadows. Their consistency is very similar to ColourPop Super Shocks. Angel. Adore. Dreamland. I need to use these more as well, and I'm not letting go of them. Single shadows and pigments that I've kept. 18, and I'm letting go of 6. Not too shabby. The following section is going to be single shadows, and it's going to be more of a presentation than anything because I do not have the mental fortitude to handle those right now. So just sit back, enjoy the shiny. These are 3 Glam Shop empty palettes. They're really, really useful. In this I have toppers from Bernovich and Divina. These are the Divina and these are the Bernovich ones. In this I have neutral shadows from Glam Shop. I was thinking initially, before I got really, really acquainted with their formula, to have a on-the-go palette. The problem is that I don't necessarily like their matte formula. It's quite powdery. It's got like a lot of kick up. It always ends up looking just a smidge darker on the lids than it does in the pan. So I will probably be decluttering these two and just keeping the pinks. These are from Forever Lash, the Romanian brand that I mentioned earlier, and these are a bunch of cream shadows that I usually use as a base for more special looks since they're duochromy, and they work the best when they are used as bases and then you top them with a powder shadow of any type. I want to get more use out of these. This is my easy peasy one shadow look palette. And I've got a bunch of stuff here from Glam Shop, from MAC, some Luxie, some Davina, another Pupa shadow, which I think I will repress because I'm never going to go through this big of a pan, but it is quite unique to my collection. This is my pink and neutral palette. It's upside down with with some exceptions. I have Bernovich Glam Shop, Neve Cosmetics in here. I'm thinking of doing a one single shadow a day project very soon, so I can start going through all of my singles and remembering again why I want to use them and how much I love them and if I can declutter something or not. Purple palette with, again, some exceptions. For example, these are my repressing situations. I don't think I need these two yellows. I've already got plenty of yellow in my collection and I will never use a yellow this pale. So these can go. I mean, I did say I wasn't going to declutter anything, but if there's something that jumps out to me, why not? The green and blue palette. Why are these all upside down? I have to admit that this section is the least used simply because I don't pull for greens and blues very often, which is a surprise because I have a lot of them. It's just that I think they're pretty and shiny, so I end up always buying more, which is a habit that I'm trying to break myself out of. I'm not allowed to buy anything green and blue at all anymore. These are some Neve Cosmetic shadows and one from Juvia's Place. I'm going to keep these for nostalgic purposes. They're two of the first Neve Cosmetics shadows that I did buy. And I also like using them in the dead of winter to create a smoky eye, like a one shadow smoky eye. I feel like these are in Veleno and Mela Stregata, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. This blue is an Oxygeno, and I mostly use it when doing creative looks. It's a very useful shadow to have. I don't really have a kind of satin baby blue outside of that Pupa. And this is the only like truly minty green shadow that I have. These are keepers. I'm going to let go of these. These are super, super pretty. They're multi-chromes and a glitter. I always fear for my eyes when using them. It's just they're very loosely pressed. They're indeed just the most gorgeous things. They're very beautiful, but it's just that they're so loosely pressed that I fear my eyes every time I use them. I've got sensitive eyes as it is. I really don't want to risk it. So I will probably use these as art supplies. So basically this is what I'm decluttering out of my single shadows collection for now. I need to try everything else more before making another decision. This beauty over here that I customized with stickers is the Beauty Bay 42 matte palette, and this for me is an utilitarian item, mainly because it's got every rainbow shadow known to man, and whenever I think that I don't have something, I know I will have it in here, so this is very useful and it stays. I also made it look very pretty. The regular palettes now, very, very hard category to go through. And I will probably be keeping most of these. These two ColourPop palettes are actually an interesting story. So I did have the original Through My Eyes. I did have the original Sweet Talk. And a couple of years ago, I also had one of those purple monochrome palettes and a brownish, beautiful neutral monochrome palette. But as I kept using them and, kind of like fiddling with them, I started slowly just moving things from place to place and decluttering them and moving them and, franken-paletting them. So for example, this, after fiddling with it, and I'm going to put some pictures on the side over there. This, after much fiddling with it, this is everything that I'm decluttering. Lots of neutrals, some shadows that I have duplicates in my single shadow form in a formula that I like better. Some of these don't perform as well as they used to, particularly this row. So I am going to let these go. What I'm going to do is actually gouge out the powder in most of these and use the pans to repress stuff. What I am keeping remains in the packaging of the Sweet Talk palette. I think this is 50% Sweet Talk and some other stuff like duochromes and this one shade that's a neutral, but it's really, really pretty. I'm pretty happy considering that this is the one that I'm keeping. Everything else I am letting go of. I will probably keep the packaging again because it's useful. So I will consider this one palette decluttered, one palette kept. Oden's Eye palettes are very new to my collection. I think I got them in November or December last year. I'm really in love with the formula so far. I need to make a review of them. They were kind of like the reason why I decided to do a declutter because, for example, this is every rosy neutral ever that I could possibly need. This has lots of beautiful, colorful shades. Yeah, I'm really happy that I got these. Something that I'm letting go of is the Glam Shop Cashmere palette. This is a bit edited. I put in another shadow. I love the shimmers here. The problem is the mattes make me look sick. There's an undertone issue between them and my skin. Every matte that I use, except these two and maybe this, they make me look bruised. I do love the shimmers. For example, this shimmer, oh my god, it's just the most beautiful, multicolored, finely milled veil of shimmer on your lids. This one is also gorgeous. I like this one as well. This is really pretty. These I feel like I have duplicates from their single shadows. I'm still unsure if I should just like take out this one and maybe, you know, the ones that I do like, and then the rest I can just take the pans out, reuse them, send the cardboard to recycling. Might have to decide how I want to handle this, but point being is this is getting decluttered. Oh, Nabla, the old faithful. I've had these palettes, this is since 2018, this is more recent, 2021, and this is from 2018 as well, so they're getting up there. But I'm not ready to let them go. The Nabla Dreamy, I have Franken paletted it as part of my 1 month, 1 palette project, which I really changed my mind about quite fast because I cannot do 1 month, a palette. I just got so bored. And it's not the palette's fault, it's just that I get bored. I love these. The shimmers and the mattes still perform perfectly with the exceptions of the things that I've replaced. Keeping this one. The Dreamy 2 I don't really use, to be quite fair with you, but I find it very inspirational whenever I do use it, and it's got some pretty unique tones to my collection. Like for these reds, these sort of muddy golds, they're like dwarf gold, if it makes sense. I'm definitely keeping this. And then the Soul Blooming is one of my favorite palettes, but I will probably Franken palette this as well, especially Anemone and Flowery, which aren't performing as well as they did. To be fair, Anemone was always just kind of meh, and Caravaggio as well, probably a project for another time. The Zeesea Red Queen palette, Queen of Hearts, really love this palette. Not a fan of the chunky glitter, but everything else is really, really beautiful. I love using this blue as a base or as a liner. This red is gorgeous. I really like the shimmers. This shimmer is beautiful, definitely. This is going to be a hard decision. These are 2 Zeesea palettes, still from their Egyptian museum, their Egyptian British museum. This I bought myself. The inside is, you know, neutrals, but I love, because it has a kitty cat on the front, and I love kitty cats, as you may have noticed. I need to. And I've used this quite a bit. I received later in PR from them this Scarab palette. Beautiful, and it is, technically it's my tones. Practically I don't really use it. I don't know why. Like, the shadows are beautiful. I really don't have any excuse for not using it more. I just don't. Whenever I want something rosy, I always pick something else. I will try and see if one of my friends wants this. I'll probably have someone that really, really loves it. If not, because it's PR, I'm going to be posting it in a Facebook Buy Nothing group and see if anyone wants it from there. So I am going to declutter this lovely palette.
I lied. I'm keeping this. If I don't use it more till next year, it's out.
And I'm going to keep the kitty cat palette. It's technically the Anderson cat, but every cat is a kitty cat to me. Catrice and Jenny beautiful drugstore palette. I actually wore this when I was invited to a wedding and I got a lot of compliments on my makeup. The packaging is really exquisite. I'm definitely keeping that. This is just very, very cute, and if I travel I'll probably get Hamish Coralberry glitter palette. It's full of beautiful dual chrome shimmers. I took this with me on my last travel trip and I used it a whole week and I didn't get bored with it, which is saying something. The looks, every look that I made looked really pretty and really flattering. Keep. Okay, Huda. Oh, Huda. I will admit that I went a little bit nuts with these 9-pan palettes. The neon, I am never letting go of because it's full of beautiful duochromes. It's a fairy palette for me, and these pastels I really enjoy. Oh, the nude and the khaki. I just don't use these as often as I should. These are beautiful, but these are not necessarily the tones that I like using. Again, it's just beautiful. I don't really use it except for this little trio over here. I will try to see if I can sell these or if a friend wants them.
Sorry for the typing sounds. My fiancé has a mechanical keyboard and I didn't think the camera was picking it up. I can't refilm since some of what I already decluttered is already gone, so you can roast me for it in the comments.
Glam Shop Nie Zapominajka, which I'm probably butchering. Forget Me Not palette. Really, really pretty. My only gripe again is the mattes, which kind of turn different colors on me. I don't know what sort of weird alchemy is happening, but I love the shimmers. They're beautiful, and I find the color story very inspirational. These matte palettes I am keeping because they're very utilitarian to me. I use them in combination with the single shadows. The Just Peachy mattes is an old love of mine. I love this. I do have a very light hand, so you can't see much use, but she's been through it. The Romand Shade and Shadow Garden and Smoke Dusty Fog palette are newer to my collection, like they're a year old. These are so good. Work so well. Like, you would think that I would look bruised with these, but no, the undertones work so well. I love these so much. I think it's time to retire the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. Listen, this palette was objectively poor quality, and I did say it. I did love it though. I don't know, maybe it was Stockholm Syndrome. I still enjoy it, and I stand by saying that for one shadow in the crease, one shimmer on the lid, this is just fine. However, I feel that I have these shades in different single shadows that I have, so I don't really need this anymore, and I would rather focus on those more than this. So this is going. If I was smart, I would declutter the Natasha Denona Sunrise and I would sell it. But I'm not smart. I am a spiteful little goblin, and I am mad that I spent so much money on this palette when I don't 100% love it. Every look that I make with it is beautiful. I don't know, I just don't vibe with it. I will, however, continue using it until I die, as a reminder that I should stop being a clown and no eyeshadow is worth $60. The Natasha Denona Mini, I got gifted it at a certain point. I don't really use this. It's beautiful, it's great quality, but someone else can enjoy it more. The Milani Gilded Flora palette, I bought this during my last trip to my friend in the UK because I like having makeup as a memory. This is a really pretty palette so far. I've used it a couple of times. I need to make more looks with it. Definite keep. I'm going to let go of the Urban Decay Naked Petite Heat. It's quite old, and honestly these are not my tones. I also received this as a gift from a friend that I don't no longer talk with, so it doesn't have any good memories associated with it. The only shades that I wore were these. It can go. Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. Oh, how I love you. This is me in a palette. If I had to like do my makeup collection from the start and just buy one palette, this would be it. I have to put it in a monthly shop my stash so I get to use this more. I love it. I'm not letting go of it. I am, however, letting go of this Laka eyeshadow in position. These looked more saturated on the Yes Style page. These are lovely. They're a beautiful formula. I like the shimmers. It's just that, again, these are the saturated mauve tones that make me look bruised. This is the Etude House Autumn Closet. Again, customized with one of my pretty stickers. This is a beautiful neutral palette and I love it. I need to use it more as well because I've been focusing on my older palettes instead of the new. But I'm hoping that now that I'm letting go of some stuff and clearing out, you know, my closet, so to speak, I'll be able to use it more. These shimmers are so beautiful and multi-dimensional. They're amazing. Zoeva Eclectic Eyes. This survives countless declutters. And that's because of these shades over here. They're so beautiful and multi-dimensional, even though I really do not use the rest of the palette. I don't know what to do with this. I do love these when I use them. They're very pretty, just that I use this so little. I think I'm going to try to gouge out some of these two that I like. The What's Up Desert Monsoon. Every time I use this, I like the look that I come up with. I just don't use it that often. I don't know why. It's got so many beautiful shades. The mattes are lovely. I have to remind myself to just use this more often. I received this in PR, so that's probably why it doesn't sit as heavy in my mind palace. Stassi Alex Golden Kinglet. Beautiful greeny tones. And now that I'm looking at it, I know that I made the right choice to let go of the Huda Khaki Haze because those greens were the ones that I liked the best. But I like these even more. And these are just beautiful duochromes. Oh, we're on the final stretch. I'm going to admit that I don't really use this MAC and Pony Park palette, but this was a gift from my mom for my birthday, and I like looking at it. I like looking at the packaging. I like these shimmers. I am keeping this for now. These two are also gifts from a friend, but I will warn you before I open it that they will look quite different from what they used to. The Kaleidos formula for me is kind of hit and miss. They're very pigmented and very shimmery, very metallic. What I like more is something that I can build up and something that's more of a sheer sparkle. So I made these work for me. The Kaleidos Futurism Green has all of its shades except this one, which I got from Astro Pink because I think it fits better in this color scheme, and the black, which I put aside and I use every day as a liner. And I like using this for creative looks. The Astro Pink I turned into my perfect everyday palette. These two are the originals, and then these three are repressed in ColourPop pans. You know what I said earlier about gouging out the product and repressing? This is Juvia's Place, this is Misha, and this is a Franken Shadow, and this is a former ColourPop. So this now is really easy for me to like pull out and use every day and just enjoy the pretty packaging, because at the end there's the packaging that sparks the most joy and reminds me of the beautiful gift that my friend gave me. I have three palettes that I forgot to pull out. This is the Zeesea Palace Identity Tang Romance palette. This is in the shade Earthy Brown. And this is basically a work of art. It's so beautiful, so hefty, so luxurious. And it's got these neutral shadows as well as like of a sort of blush type of thing. I love using this. This is on display on my vanity. It's one of those, you know, more subtle Asian makeup palettes, but it's beautiful. The Nabla Side by Side is on my Shop My Stash this month in combination with this other palette over here. I really like it as a neutral palette. My favorite shade is this one because it's a gray that's quite wearable on me. And I'm using it in combination this month with the Naked Urban Decay Ultraviolet. I feel like a lot of influencers dunked on this because they expected very high payoff. This is more of a fairy looks palette. Sheer, beautiful, buildable, blendable. The shimmers just kind of can be combined in a multitude of different ways. It's not something incredibly intense, but it is incredibly beautiful. So this is also a definite. I'm done decluttering. This was faster than I thought it would be. Let's do a head count. 2, 3, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 24. So I am keeping 24 palettes.
Actually 28 with the ones I forgot to get initially and the one I decided to keep after all. Clearly I have an eyeshadow issue, but YOLO.
Which is an insane amount of palettes for one person to have, but they spark joy, so I don't care. And I am letting go of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the ColourPop one is 10 palettes. I think I did pretty well numbers wise. I wasn't expecting to declutter so much, but here I am. This has been it. Thank you guys so much for watching my eyeshadow declutter. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, second breakfast, third lunch, or whatever it is where you're from. Bye!